Hello, Village Missionaries. This is Jim Cross, and I'm here with Robin McAllister, and we're going to spend a few minutes taking you through the web reporting system. The web reporting system is the main way that we get information from you, and it's foundational for several uses. We use it to calculate your supplement on a monthly basis, and it's also the source of our prayer requests and our stories from the field. We use stories to develop our publications and to provide some accountability to our donors for the work and the progress that is taking place in the ministry. The ministry of Village Missions is fueled by prayer, so we really appreciate having your prayer requests, and that is a big part of what we do as well. So we are here on the home page of the Village Missions website, and down on the bottom of the page you will find a link called Missionary Login. You will click on that link, and I'm just going to flip over to the page here. It's going to take you to the Village Missions Field portal, and you will have a username and password to gain access to the portal. So when you first arrive on your field, you will contact Robin McAllister here at the office. I believe that's in the letter that you get when you first get to the field. And it'll have your username and password. No, it won't.
No, it won't.
No, you need to call Robin,
Get
right?
that for me.
Okay, good.
I am the keeper of the passwords.
Okay, right. So Robin will set you up with your password, and that will get you in the front door of the portal. So let's just log in here and take a look at what is available. On the top, you will have your button for your weekly reporting, but I just want to scan the page quickly here. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about this stuff because you can browse it on your own. But I do want to mention the monthly forms here. These are your first year monthly reports. So if you are a first year rookie on the field, we ask you to fill out a first year monthly report in addition to the regular monthly web reporting, and those are displayed here. We have the regular full-time Village Missionary, and then we also have intern monthly reports. So if you're serving a internship with us, there's monthly reports there for you as well. And as we go down, we have added quite a bit of content to this page. There are quarterly forms for your intern mentors. There are annual forms. For example, when you have your annual meeting at your church, maybe the officers change, and we just need to get new contact information so that we can be talking to the correct people. That form is here. We ask you to provide us with evidence of your auto insurance. That form is there. We've got, there's a first year report that's kind of hidden under yearly forms. There is a report when you have a Village Missionary Sunday, or what we're calling it now. It's what do we call it now?
That's a really good question.
We call it rural
Ministry Outreach.
Rural Ministry Outreach Sunday.
Yes.
Right. Or you can call it whatever you want. The main thing is that you have one, okay? So we also have some other forms and some helpful documents. This is your Village Missions address book. This is updated periodically, so you can stay in touch with all of your fellow missionaries. This is a photo directory. It's kind of cool. We put it up there for your use. If you want some pictures, maybe you want to pray for your fellow missionaries and have their photos, you can do that. This is the red manual. So if you can't find your red manual when the DR visits, you can always come here and you can say, I've got it on my computer, and it's right there. Also, some real important policies that you need to keep track of. The child abuse prevention policy is very important. We also provide resources to help your field develop a child abuse prevention policy if you do not have one in place. We have a policy on suspected misconduct, dishonesty, fraud, and whistleblower protection. This is a policy that maybe we need to do a whole additional video on sometime, but that's just to let you know if there is some suspected misconduct or dishonesty on your field, up or down, there's a policy in place to follow to report that correctly. We also have the Statement of Lifestyle Morality Standard. We have the personal financial policies, which are excerpted from the Red Manual. This form is important. Authorization agreement for direct deposit. Robin, that's something that you asked them to get into you pretty quickly, right?
Yeah, if you're going to be getting a different bank account in your new field, as soon as you get that information, get that to us. If you're new to the field or new to Village Missions, get us one as soon as you can, and then once you change banks, give us the updated information. But that's the information we need to direct deposit your paycheck. Otherwise, it's going to take you about a week to get it by the time we get the card copy and then get it sent off to you. And I'm sure you'd like that money in your account as soon as possible. So that's really important to get that information to us.
Okay. And then the next document is our web submitted weekly report instructions. Now, Robin, you recommend that they print this out?
Yes. It's a really easy program to use, but there are some things in it that aren't particularly intuitive. So I recommend that you print them off the first time and follow it through step by step. And as you're going through, you're going to go, oh, this is so easy. I could have figured this out. But you need to catch those intuitive instances because it really makes a difference on how the reports come through to me. So follow it through, and then after that first time, you can keep it or use it for scrap paper. But I highly recommend doing that the first time.
Okay, and I've got on a third tab here, I do have those web submitted weekly report instructions up here on the screen. And I thought this was kind of amusing because this just, it's a sign of the times here. That first paragraph there underneath the contents, you're required to have internet access with an ISP that allows you to browse the web. So these instructions were written a lifetime ago, and when we get into the web reporting module, it's going to look like it was developed a lifetime ago. But the wonderful thing about it is that even though it's not bright and shiny, it does exactly what we need it to do.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what we're all about. We just want to, we want tools that do the job. They may not be pretty, but they get the job done. So I'm going to turn the computer here and give it to Robin, and I'm going to let her walk you through the nuts and bolts of weekly reporting.
Okay, so as Jim said, the reports, those weekly reports are very important. There's a whole lot of information that we get from it, not just the payroll information and the prayer information, but there's statistical data that we need. So as you're going through and filling out the reports, try not to leave information blank. Sometimes there's information you just don't have, and that's understandable. But try to do the best you can. If you ever have a question, just give me a call at the office here, and my extension is 118, and I can help you out with that. First thing I want to mention is when reports are due. This is very important. Your last reporting day is the last Sunday of the month. The reports are due that following Wednesday, so 3 days later. The report field will be, it will still be up. You'll still be able to access it until Saturday, but it is very important that those reports are complete by the end of Wednesday because there's processing we need to do before we can download the information. So please, mark that on your calendar. That date is going to be different every month. but it's always the first Wednesday after the last Sunday, so please be aware of that. Sometimes it sneaks up on you. Jim pointed out the documents at the bottom, so when you're going in to do the report for the first time, print out those instructions. And the first part of that is going to tell you to go into the first choice here, the weekly reporting records. So we'll go ahead and click that. This first screen, as you'll see, it's, get used to this here, it alternates yellow and white. This is not the screen that you make any of your data entry. It's the screen that you can look at each individual week and take a glance at the information that you have in there. So it alternates yellow and white between each week. The dates that we have here are for the Sunday ending. So your reporting week is from Monday through Sunday. So for this particular date here, it would be the last week in August up till September 3rd. You can go into any of these weeks and enter data the whole month long. If you decide you want to change something or add something in the middle of the month, you can go back in there. It's just on that Wednesday where the reports are due. After that, please don't make any changes in the data. If you need to, please contact me and let me know. So what you're going to do when you first go in is you're going to decide which week you need to enter information from. So I'm just going to go down to the first week in August here, perhaps. There we go. And you click on this green button right here, and it's going to pull up the screen that you do make your data entry. First thing you want to do is make sure that the username, that your name is there, and you will also have your field. In this case, this is the International Service Center, so therefore the ISC. If that field is not correct, contact me. We'll make sure that gets updated. If you are moving to a different field in the middle of the month, that half month will still have your previous field in it, but I will make changes into put the weeks where they belong for that particular field. So in your first full month, make sure that information is correct, because we want that to be linked to your field and to your DR so you can see what's going on in your church. Over here on the left or right hand side, I'm going to point out two very important buttons. The green button is the Save Changes and Review. So after you've made entry in this screen, click that green button, and the review part of it is very important. If entry into any of these fields is deemed incorrect by the computer, by the coding in it, it will delete those entries. So you want, after you click that Save Changes, you want to go back into, or scroll back down through the form, make sure all the stuff that you put in there is still there. If it is and you're all done, you can use the blue button to exit out. If you hit that blue button and exit out before you've done a green button, it's going to delete your information.
So I have a question, Robin. What kind of entries are going to cause the software to tilt and not save?
Not save. The biggest one is down here in the payroll data. These fields are number fields. It will not take a $sign or a comma, because those are text characters, so it will delete it. So for instance, if your offerings are $1,000 and you put 1,000, it's going to delete it. You can use the decimal point, that's fine, but no $sign or no comma. And that's one of the biggest things that gets deleted. And when you're putting in your what you were paid for salary, and that gets deleted, that can make a really big difference in how things turn out. So,
okay. Thank you.
So I totally forgot where I was going to go with this. Okay. So as we go through this information, you on the original screen you saw that it was done on a weekly basis. So I highly recommend that you go into your weekly records and do them every week. The nature of what you do out there is that sometimes things happen, and the week that payroll is due, you're off counseling a family who's lost someone, or you just can't get to a computer. It makes it a whole lot easier to be able to enter 1 week of data later than doing the whole month. So I highly recommend that. Also, as you're going in and putting in those progress memos and the stuff that's happened in your field, it's fresh in your mind. You don't have to go back and try and remember everything. So again, every week if you can do it. Understand if you can't, but every week if you can. If you get data from your treasurers for offering information and it's not broken down on a weekly basis, it is okay to go ahead and enter it on the bottom or the last week of the month. Okay. The reason I asked that you entered at the last is because when I go and double check, then I understand it's a total and not that you missed the other 3 weeks. So starting at the top of the page here, scroll up, we've got the progress memo. This is a very easy text field. You just type right into it. Your DRs may have certain things they want you to record in your progress memo, so you talk to them about that. But very, very easy, just type it in. Type it in. All right, and then you just tab and it will bring you down to the field data information. Take a look at your red manual. There's information about all this data that's being collected. If you have any questions, either look there, call me, or talk to your DR. Briefly, I will show you or talk about the payroll data, but everything else in the attendance and calls and decisions is pretty self-explanatory. Over here in the payroll data, it gets a little confusing. General offerings is very self-explanatory. That's your church's general offerings. The next field down the line, items paid by the church. This does not include VMEBP or benefit plans that they pay. In your red manual is a list of everything that is to be included in there. That information is necessary for me to determine what your supplement is going to be. One of the biggest problems that we have is that people forget to put that information in there. So always double check and make sure you put it in there. Of course, in some cases, you're not getting paid anything, and so a 0 is okay in that field. Otherwise, make sure that's in there. Gifts received are gifts that you received from your donors that go directly to you and not through Village Missions. Church to VM General Fund, that is the tithe from your church to Village Missions. Church to Designated Purpose or VM Designated Purpose, that is money that your church gives to Village Missions for a designated purpose. Say, for instance, they want to send in some money, extra money for the helping fund. That information would go there. Church to other missionary endeavors, that is what your church sends to other missions, not including Village Missions. So if they give to Team or World Venture or anything like that, that's where that information goes. And your personal gift to VM, that is your tithe. Remember again, those fields, do not put a $sign or a comma. After you get through this data, I highly recommend that you go up and do a save. Many of you, it's not uncommon for many of you to still be on dial-up or an internet that's very sketchy. This screen does not save as you put it in. So it can be very frustrating if you fill out all the information and you find out that as you were entering all your information, your internet disconnected. And you're going to have to enter it all over again. So if you are one of those people who does not have the most reliable internet connection, save often so that you don't get caught in that frustrating situation. Down here in this the next section is the activities information. In the document, the instructions, it mentions that you should use either Chrome or Firefox. The reason is that some of the functionality in this in the web report is not available with Internet Explorer. You can still fill out the information and fill out your reports in their entirety. It's just some functionality that makes it a little easier is not available. And this is the section where that occurs. So activities are special events that you have during the week, or even some regular events that aren't accounted for up here in the attendance. One time we had a church that had a big motorcycle rally picnic. Some people were coming into town for a motorcycle rally, and they held a picnic. That's the kind of thing that they would put in theirs. To do this, you go to Add New Activity, and it brings up this screen here. First thing you're going to do is you're going to type in the activity that you're doing. So let's just say motorcycle rally. Okay. And you tab over. The count in the week is how many times it happened that week. Total attendees, very explanatory. Activity comments. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can put in there. Anything that might be of interest to your to DRs. And then the final button is Save Changes. The button up above is how you leave this screen, just like on the previous screen. If you exit without saving, it's not going to save it. Now, some of the functionality that I mentioned is from this screen. So I saved the changes, and I'm going to show you the functionality that comes with that. If I were to go in and add a new activity, I come down here, and it will keep a record of all the activities that you've entered previously. So, for instance, if you have a young adults Bible study every week, you don't have to type that in every time you put it in. So that's the functionality that you lose if you're using Internet Explorer. So we entered this activity, we've saved the changes, it closes out and it comes to this screen. If we need to edit that activity that we just entered, it goes right in here. If you didn't mean to put it in there, you can delete it. As you saw a moment ago, you can add a new activity from here, but if you're all done, you just hit exit and it goes back to the screen. Okay, so now we've covered most of this page. I'm going to go to the last section, which is praise and prayer. We pray every morning from 8 to 8:30 at the office. We also have Google groups to get prayers out. The prayers that you enter in this space on the reporting program are downloaded every week and distributed to your DRs, and we pray for them in the office. If you have a prayer request that is urgent and time sensitive, you use the Google groups. That information is in the instructions, the email address for that. You'll send that out, and one of the administrators will get that out to everyone on our Google Groups list, so we can pray about that information immediately. Just like the progress memo up at the top, this is just a text field, and so you just enter the prayer here. That is all the information that is needed on the screen. Save it all. Go back down and check, make sure everything's in there. Actually, let me show you what happens when you use that comma. So I've put this in here. I go about doing all my other information. I come in here and I hit Save Changes, and we go down and we see that that has now disappeared. So what I would have wanted to do, how I would have entered that, was just 1000. I can use the decimal. Go back up to the top, I hit Save Changes, and you'll see that that remembers. It does remove the decimal if there's no trailing numbers besides 0, but that's not a big issue. So once this is all entered, you exit, and it's going to bring you back to the white and yellow screen. Always make a cursory check to make sure that the information that you entered is in there. I got to get used to this here. And so you'd come down here and you'll see that this is the information that I've entered. Here's the $1,000 that I put in there as an example. We're all good to go. So if you're entering weekly, after you finish that, you can just exit and done. If you are, you need to enter another week's information, locate the week you need to edit, click the green button, and go in and make your data input. After you have completed all the weeks for the month, you do not need to send the report to me or notify me that it's finished. I will go in and download them. What you do want to do is print off some paper, hard copy reports for your church and for yourself. So you exit out of this screen, and we come back to this page with all the information and all the documents. Down here under printed reports, you're going to see a few options: church report, praise and prayer, and progress report that you can print off. Only the current month and the previous month are available to print off. If you need information from any months prior to that, contact me and I can get that information together for you. But it's highly recommended that you print off a paper copy of all these reports. After everything's completed and you've printed off your reports, you can just, you can just log out right here. Again, I want to reiterate when the reports are due. They are due the Wednesday after the last Sunday. If for any reason you are not going to be able to complete your report on time, whether it being away on vacation or your computer's down or whatever, give me a call. I mentioned the computer is down. Really not a legitimate reason, because you can access this from any computer. That's the beauty of it. If you are away on vacation, you can still go in and fill out some information. Just remember your username and password, and you can access it from any computer. And I believe that is it for me.
Okay, well, thank you, Robin. Yeah, we just wanted to cover the web reporting on this video, and we will cover other topics on other videos. But yeah, we thank you for listening, and again, if you have any questions, you can give us a call here at the office. Robin's extension is 118, my extension is 120. We've got people here who are ready and willing to help you, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thank you.